Hey, Covert GG back with another EFT video. Today we're going to be showcasing two new weapons in the game. It's going to be the SR25 and it's going to be the MDR 762 version. I think that one's going to be real nasty. So EFT, along with this update, they added new mods, new weapons, and new ammo, which changes the meta of the game. In addition to a bunch of other things that they've added. So it really does give you more diversity on how you want to play the game, how you want to approach it, when you want to do these things. And so I wanted to showcase these two new weapons because I think these two are the biggest game changers. So if you end up enjoying the video, make sure to give us a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe. Also, remember, I stream on Twitch 4 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, from 8:30 a.m. Eastern to about 3:30 p.m. Eastern. The link's right there. Anyway, thanks for everything. I hope you enjoy this. All right, so Peacekeeper has 3 new weapons that you can build. The first one's going to be at level 2, and it's going to be an MP 9x19. The second option, or the second weapon, is going to be at level 3, which is going to be the SR25. It's going to be a marksman rifle. And then the last one is going to be at level 4, which is going to be the MDR 762. And this one right here, I think, is going to be real nasty. I think this one's going to be one that you're going to want to give a go to, because it's going to be firing that 762. It's going to be full auto. It's going to be compact, and we're going to get some options for modding this weapon as well. All right, so the first weapon we're going to focus on here is going to actually be the SR25. This is, so I went ahead and I set up a couple presets for it, depending on how you want to set this weapon up, right? So we'll start with, we're going to go Ergo Loud, right? So I went ahead and for these presets, I went ahead and I left off the optics and the mounts for those optics, because I feel like that is subjective in terms of you know, what range you want to play at, what map you're going to be on, how you want to approach those things and whatnot. And so I left those out, but we can take a look at them as well. So this particular setup is a loud version. You're going to end up with a weight of 3.954. You're going to have 82 ergonomics, and your vertical recoil is going to be 128. Horizontal recoil is going to be 275. So again, once you start adding your mounts, your optics, etc., then you're going to see your ergonomics go down. This red brake is the best 7.6251 muzzle brake that you can get in terms of recoil and ergonomics combined. So regardless, if you can put this on there, you're going to want to go with the red brake, okay? And again, you have to make a decision, and we're going to talk about, you know, how I see this weapon being used, or at the very least how I see myself using it. You know, an SR25 is a DMR, and so in my mind, I have some ideas on how I want to utilize this. This isn't an assault rifle in my mind, right? So this is going to be our Ergo Loud. Let's go take a look at our Ergo Suppressed. And so here, this is actually kind of important. This particular, you're going to want to use the Wave muzzle brake, which is by Daniel Defense, and the Daniel Defense Wave QD sound suppressor. So this is going to be the one that's going to give you the best ergo and the best recoil whenever you're running suppressed, okay? So I actually run this on my M4 as well, and it's been great. So this is going to be our Ergo Suppress build, right? And so, you know, it's got all the goodies on it. So I tried to make it so that my priority with these was ergonomics, but at the same time I was looking, is there any kind of a recoil benefit going with one of these in turn, you know, because sometimes you might have an ergonomics that still keeps you at 61, but your recoil's worse. And so I tried to make sure to match these two up, but have the focus be the ergonomics, right? And so this would be our ergonomic suppressed version. Then we have a recoil. So then I set up 2 builds that the focus was recoil, right? And so we have a recoil loud version. And again, it's going to use the red brake. Really, the only difference here is the only thing here that had an impact on that recoil was going to be the Zenit RK2 foregrip, right? And so that's going to bring us down to 293 on our ergonomics, which is, you know, a marked improvement from that ergo build, right? And it's going to keep our ergo at 55. So I don't know, we're missing about 6 points on ergo here to be able to get 293 on our recoil. And then last but not least, and this one is actually my choice, and I'm actually going to get into why this is my choice for this setup. So I went with an SR25 suppressed recoil build. So my focus here is the recoil, right? So I'm going to end up at 188, 87, and my ergo is going to be 42. So I take a pretty big hit here in terms of ergonomics. However, if we go ahead and we remove these guys, right, because we want to compare apples to apples, right, we're going to be at 48 ergo on this build. And so, but I'll bring back what my choices are here in terms of mount and in terms of what's going on here. Just happened. Here we go. My voodoo, and then I'm going to set up a canted optic here, or a canted mount, I'm sorry, and a PK, right? And so the reason why I elect to do this is that, again, this is a DMR, and I see this as a sniper rifle, right? A semi-automatic sniper rifle. And I want to be able to make sure that I can land double taps or, you know, repeat shots on target fairly quickly. But I also want to be in a situation where if I get pushed, somebody figures out where I am and they get close to me, that I can switch to my canted red dot and defend myself. Now, typically what I would do is I would make sure that I have a proper secondary, like a P90 or maybe a 5.7, right? So that if I get into a dicey situation where I get pushed, then I'm going to probably want to break contact and then transition to my secondary. However, if I get jammed up and there's just no time for that, then I want to be able to have a backup sight here, right? But so this is my choice as far as the setup is concerned. And so now let's go into the hideout. Let's check it out and we'll see how it runs. All right, so we're here in the hideout and we're going to go ahead and test out the SR25 build. This again is my preferred build. So it's going to be a recoil focus suppressed build. Again, if I end up by the globe, let's say, or by the mountains on reserve, I want to be able to try to remain concealed for as long as possible. I want to make sure that they're not going to know where I'm shooting from for as long as possible. However, I also want to make sure that if I get into a tight situation, a tight spot, I get pushed, they figure out where I am, I want to be able to quickly defend myself. I still am going to make sure that I have a quality secondary that I can transition to. But if the situation's out of my control and they're dictating the pace of the engagement, then I want to make sure that I can defend myself quickly, break contact, etc., as I had pointed out previously. So let's go ahead and let's take a look. I want to go ahead and I'm going to switch that. And so again, and if you alt right click, you can change the magnification on the voodoo, right? And so I'm getting, you know, solid hits here, right? If I have to switch to my canted red dot, right, then I can defend myself here at close range. I can land headshots. And if they get real close, yeah, I can make sure that I take them out pretty quickly. Again, if I'm running this weapon, the basic idea in my mind is I want to be sniping. I'm probably going to be prone. I'm going to be crouch, right? So I'm going to be in an advantageous position for me to be running a magnified optic on a high-powered DMR. So that's the reason why I wasn't really concerned with the Ergo. And I want to make sure that I can get quality follow-up shots on target when possible, right? Also, make sure that when you're sniping that you're holding Alt to hold your breath, and make sure to give your guy a breather every once in a while as well, right? And so that's going to stabilize your shot whenever he has that time to take that breath. So anyway, this is the SR25. This is the recoil focus suppress build. If you want to go another route, then take a look at the ergonomic setups that we put together as well. And I hope you enjoy it. Cool new weapon for all of us. All right, so let's take a look at the builds that we set up for the DT MDR 76251. So this is going to be classified as an assault rifle. You're actually going to have to go all the way to the bottom. And so the first two that I went with was an Ergo option. So you have the DT Ergo suppressed, DT loud Ergo, DT recoil loud, and the DT recoil suppressed, right? So let's start with the Ergo version on the suppressed weapon. And so what you're going to find here is you're going to get 85 on the Ergo. You're going to get 91 on your vertical recoil, 215 on your horizontal recoil. There isn't a ton that you can do to this weapon, but the stuff you can do does have a nice impact. So you're going to want to put a front grip on it. Pistol grip's going to have no bearing on what you can do. You can't change out the buttstock. Currently, there are no barrel options for this weapon, but you can make some quality decisions in terms of your muzzle brake and the type of suppressor you run, right? And this is going to be a weapon that I'm going to use aggressively. I want to make sure I have a laser on this guy, and I want to be running that laser so that my hip fire can be much better. My recoil can be enhanced by that. And so again, as I'd already pointed out, this Daniel Defense muzzle brake and the Daniel Defense sound suppressor is the way to go. In terms of ergonomics, the Fortis Shift Tactical Grip is the best in terms of ergonomics. And some of you might say, well, I don't really need a front sight or a rear sight if I am just going to throw an optic on here anyway. That said, I would tell you that would be incorrect thinking. When you're trying to bump up your ergonomics, you want to make sure to throw down a front and a rear sight because it does have an impact. Right now we're at 85. If I put none, it goes down to 84. And the same thing will happen if I bring that, if I remove the rear sight. So these M-Bus front and rear sights are real solid. Here, you're going to, again, subjective, you're going to want to decide what kind of optic you're going to run on this weapon. If I throw on the PK here, it's going to bring me down to 84. But again, I just wanted to show you kind of base furniture on here without bringing in an optic. You need to make that decision for yourself. So again, this is going to be our suppressed Ergo build. We also have the loud Ergo build. And so if we look at those stats, that's going to give us 92 on our ergonomics. However, our vertical recoil is going to be at 94 and our horizontal is going to be at 221. So our focus here is ergonomics, right? But recoil is also an important factor. And so when I was constructing this weapon, I tried to make sure to give you, to make sure that I'm conscious of this need as a secondary focus for us. And so really the big difference here is just going to be the muzzle brake. And so this Fortis red brake is still the best in class. And so if you can run it, and that's just gonna, and it's also going to give us the Ergo boost, right? So the next for this particular weapon is going to be our recoil build, which is recoil as our focus. This is going to be our loud option, and essentially the only thing you're changing in this build is going to be the RK2 foregrip. And so, but what we're going to find here is In terms of recoil, you're going to go from you're going to have 212 and 90. Your ergo is going to be at 79. So remember that on the loud build, when we focused on ergonomics, we were at 92. So you do take a substantial hit on ergonomics, but your recoil hit is actually not that terrible either, right? So you know, if you were to run the ergo build, and in this particular case, I actually am gonna favor the ergonomics build, primarily because I want to make sure that I can ADS quickly, and ergonomics has a direct impact on that. So I want to be able to focus on that, and I don't have that bad of a recoil hit when I decide to go ergo anyway. So the penalty on the recoil here when you go ergo is not as punitive as when you focus on recoil versus the ergo. So this is going to be our ergo. And then last but not least here is going to be our recoil suppressed focus build. And so if we take a look here, we're going to end up at 206.88 with an ergo of 72. And so this is what led me to decide that I was going to go with the suppress ergo build, because I feel like it's the most balanced approach. And as a result, that's the one I went ahead and I invested my money into. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring that one back up here so you can take a look at it. If we look at the stats, we're at 85 ergo, which is pretty darn good. 215 on the recoil, horizontal recoil, and 91 on our vertical recoil. And so this is actually the one I went with. And so let's take it into the hideout and you can take a look to see how their performance is. All right, gang, so we're back in the hideout and we're going to be testing out the DT MDR, the 308 version. Again, this is kind of a CQB weapon, right? And you're firing a 7.62 round, so naturally you are going to see stronger recoil. The handling on this weapon will not be as good, but the first thing we want to do is make sure we turn on our laser, right? Because that's gonna give us an assist here. We're gonna test out the full auto here, and let's just see how this goes. So you're gonna get a strong initial recoil, but then as you pull down, it becomes way more manageable, right? So this might be a weapon that you want to start either maybe center mass on, so that you allow for that recoil, right? Kind of know your weapon and how it handles. So you might want to start out center mass and then let it pull up, and then you can solidify around the head, or you could start at the head and then just immediately go for the pull down to make your adjustment, right? So we'll try a center mass burst here. And so I would say if it was me, I'm gonna go for around the neck area is where I want to be around. Allow that initial recoil to take me up, and then I'm gonna want to settle down around the head, right? So I'm gonna back up here, and that way I get some more ammo here. And so we'll try this at medium range as well on full auto. And so it's only a 20 round magazine, so that's another factor, another way that they're balancing out this weapon. So, and then finally, I think what I want to try out for us is if I go single fire here, yeah. And so this might be the way to go. I think it would require a little more testing and some time to figure out how you want to run it, but that is not bad. That is not bad at close range. I think at close range, I think I'd go full auto. Medium to, you know, kind of a far distance, I think I would opt for a single tap, and I would just try to get a solid cadence going with my weapon. So anyway, so this is the DT MDR 7.62. And again, you're going to need to expect that the handling will not be as good as the 5.56 version. And you might want to make the decision to go with the recoil build that I demonstrated as well, because, you know, every little bit counts. And so that might end up being the way to go here with this weapon. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed these two. These are two real nice additions to the game. I think you're going to be seeing both of these a lot more, the SR25 and the DT here. So you're going to want to make sure you take those dudes out so you can capitalize on them. All right, gang, those are the builds. I want to hear back from you guys. Please give me feedback in the comments. Let me know if you found something that works even better than what I showed, and that way we can make modifications to our approach in game. We can share that with our community and make sure everybody's doing the best they can. But for now, this is what I was able to find. I hope you enjoyed it. Give it a try and give us the feedback. Don't forget to subscribe and thumbs up the video. I really would appreciate your support. Also, I'm streaming 4 days a week on Twitch, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, from 8:30 a.m. Eastern to about 3:30 p.m. Eastern. Links right there. I'd love for you to follow the channel and join us from time to time. We have an awesome group of folks. Anyway, thanks for everything, and peace out, everybody.